G'day world, I'm Chris Hogan coming to you from MeMedia studio here in Burleigh Heads for episode 98 of Get Fact Up, and I'm here with Casey Lyons, who's the co-founder of Livin. Livin.org is the website address and
Sure is.
specifically focused on mental health. How you going, Casey?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for coming in, mate.
Pleasure to be here. It's a beautiful Gold Coast day.
It is. Wish we were outside in the surf.
Yeah. Yeah. Or near the surf.
Mate, starting a charity. Why did you do that?
We needed to. In 2013, we lost my best mate, a very, very good man, Dwayne Lally, to suicide. He lived with depression and bipolar for a number of years, and the stigma kept him quiet and stopped him from getting the help that is out there. And after his death, we kind of didn't know where to go or what to do, and we still had limited understanding. And even with Dwayne, he felt different, and he felt ashamed to access the plenty of great support that is out there. So we wanted to try and bridge the gap between the people that are living with a mental illness and the great service providers that are out there. So now we go around the country educating. We've got an education program that goes into schools, businesses, sporting clubs. We do community-based events anywhere around the country, and then we've also got our merchandise, and each sort of, let's call them pillars, they sort of look after each other in a roundabout way. When we're out there educating, the merch picks up, and so do the events, and then when the events or the merch pick up, they all just look after each other. So it's been a great three-pronged attack. And
so why is it important that you create that education or awareness? Is that enough?
Yeah, well, there's, as I said, there's plenty of great service providers out there. It's people were just not comfortable in putting their hand up and asking for help, and that's because there's stigma. And this is something that's been ingrained in us since we were kids. You go to school, you learn sex ed, you learn all the subjects that you learn at school, but you don't ever learn how to have these conversations or how to look after yourself. Statistics suggest that 1 in 4 people live with some form of mental illness, and 1 in 2 people will live with them or experience a mental illness in their lifetime, but less than half will access support. And that's because of stigma most of the times. And the main reasons, or research and a fair bit of it suggests that the more common reasons people don't access that support is they feel like a burden, they don't want to trouble people, their troubles aren't that significant, and the stigma. So we really want to go about educating people to change these perceptions and how people understand mental illness in this country, and in turn just getting people living a happy life again.
So what constitutes support?
Poor mental health?
Support, yeah. Like, if I'm going to get support, what does that actually look like in the, I guess, the smallest sense of the...
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear the question to begin
right.
with. But support could come in any form. We always recommend professional support first, but then there's, support from your family, your friends. It could be your teacher at school. It could be your boss at work, or also yourself. You're a great support network for yourself and being a good friend to yourself. But it always starts with being honest with yourself. And if you're not feeling good, put your hand up and ask for help, because there is someone that will help you, and there is someone that can understand what it is you're going through and connect you with the help that you need.
So when you say ask for help, what's generally the way that you start that conversation, with people?
Yeah, and it's quite tough. And even to ask a friend if you've noticed you're struggling or a family member is quite tough. And we believe you can't be scared of asking, how are you? And be prepared for the answer that comes back to you. That simple question could really change your life. You could throw in, hey, I've noticed that you're doing this differently. You used to eat your lunch outside, and now you're eating at your desk, or you're not eating at all. Usually you're very open and chatty when you come in, but now you're very snappy and you don't say hello. We know the people around us better than we think we do, and when you notice these small little changes, it is always best to reach out and ask for help. And with yourself, it's a great place to start is your local GP. Go to them, say, hey, usually I'm the first in the gym, I smash it out, and I just don't have the drive to do it right now. Usually I'm getting to work early, I love being there, I just don't like being there. There's a whole range of warning signs and symptoms, but what we suggest and what the research suggests, if these symptoms are stopping you from doing the things that you normally enjoy, for all the things that you can do easily for a rolling period of more than 2 weeks, it's always best to just ask for help. And yeah, you might not know how to ask for help, but the professionals are there to help, or your family and friends are there to help. So it might be awkward to begin with, but just try. However that is for yourself, just try.
So I understand the range that you've created, the clothing range, revolves a lot around, I guess, being physical and getting physical, hence why it's mostly T-shirts and a casual attire. What benefits are you seeing helping people, with regards to exercise? Is that why you took on the casual sort of sports sort of range and focused it towards, exercise can actually help mental health issues?
Yeah, well, research suggests that, a minimum of 15 minutes per day can increase your feel-good, endorphins and hormones for, a 24-hour period. So, and then on the back end of that, we always get asked, well, what exercise is the good exercise? And it's the exercise that you can do consistently. Some people can run a marathon every morning. Good on them. If it's just getting out of bed and going for a walk, good on you. Just get out there, get outdoors and do something that's just getting that blood flowing and raising that heartbeat a little bit. And the merchandise was more of an organic sort of, we never felt right asking for money and giving nothing in return. And that's why we started the clothes. Originally we did some clothes at Dwayne's funeral. We had his face printed on them, and they were received so well that on the back end of that, it was kind of a natural transition. And we are working on an activewear range to cross over so people can work out in their Livin activewear. But it's also a great marketing tool for us. When people are wearing the Livin merchandise, which I'm not wearing today, they're a walking billboard. It's a conversation starter, and the positives that we never really envisioned from creating a merchandise brand that sits within the charity have been phenomenal. And we couldn't have gotten to the heights that we've gotten to without the merchandise. No,
that's right. And you've had some, I guess, famous people help with awareness just by simply wearing the clothing, which has been fantastic. And you actively use those images on your website and your marketing, and good on them for supporting you. And we at MeMedia actually, every individual here within the team has been closely associated with someone that's had mental health issues, and that's why we're supporting you as well. And it's something very close to my heart. I believe in what you're doing 100%, and I think that more companies should do it. So what do you say to corporates around supporting your charity or this charity?
Well, the statistics that I sort of touched on earlier, those numbers don't lie. And suicide is the leading cause of death between the ages of 14 and 44 in this country and pretty much around the world. So if it hasn't affected you personally, it's affected someone that you know. And for us, with corporates, whether they want to work with us or people in the field, in the same field as us, we highly recommend the proactive approach. You don't want to be coming from a reactive state where you've had something happen in your workplace or to one of your employees or colleagues, and oh shit, now I think it's time I reach out to that charity or organisation and get them in. Get on the front foot, and a positive mental health, even from a work point of view, can increase productivity and happiness within the workplace. So it's a win-win from the get-go anyway.
So what are the corporates doing? Are they replacing their uniforms with your merch? Or
Some people are.
Or are they coming in, they're just bringing you in for education?
Some people are, and then also education. We love the workplaces that have Livin uniform days. We do our education talk in the corporates, and it's been very well received. And we've kind of changed our business model now, and it never was right with us to charge in schools, but in the beginning we had no money, and to send our facilitators there were hard costs involved. But now we're in a position where we've changed that, and now our corporates they pay a fee for the talk, and they will fund schools in their area to receive the educational training as well.
Fantastic.
So it's from so many different ways, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
And it's just about opening their staff up, and because a lot of corporates have EAPs, but staff members don't know about them. They're a little bit confused as to what they do. There's a stigma about going to them.
Can you explain EAPs?
An employee assistant program. Your bigger corporates tend to have these. Your mining companies, construction companies, they have them, and they're a great resource, and they're there free of charge, completely confidential. But staff members don't know this, and they're scared into silence. But that's because they've never, been educated. So that's what our job is, to make these people feel comfortable, educated, and the service is there. You may as well use it.
What's that do to company culture when they start supporting, some? I want to call you guys a brand, but obviously it's not a charity.
We can be called a brand. we like to call ourselves a brand-led movement. We always led with the brand, which then sort of more people knew about us. So brand is completely fine.
I like movement too. So what happens to that corporate culture when they support a movement like yours?
It's always hard to give a definite answer on that, because we don't always get that feedback. But, happiness will go up, acceptance, and these things can increase, an understanding, a culture that looks out for each other, which will only increase productivity and a want and a will to be there. If your employees feel as though they're valued and that the boss or the managers actually care about them, they're going to want to show up, and they're going to want to, in turn, do a good job for you.
So what's one of the incorrect ways for a corporate to introduce Livin?
We've obviously got our values, and if this company's values don't align with ours, then I'm sorry, it's not a good fit for us. And that could be a whole range of things. That's a list that's
very long,
quite long, and I don't want to say one over other, but it comes back to values and integrity. And that's something we take into account too when partnering with organisations and companies.
So it's just slapping your logo on their website or on their email footer or whatever it is, and dropping a donation in your bank account, enough for a corporate to do, or do they actually, like, especially when they're looking to, I guess, change their culture or unite their team and I guess align their corporate values with their customer corporate values? Is that enough, or do they need to do more than that?
Well, firstly, if our values align, that's completely up to them, and we would rather a more in-depth approach from them. We'd rather a more engaging approach. Anyone we come on board, we don't want to ask the question of what can we receive from you. It's what can we also give back to you, because education is it's at the core of everything we do. It's our number one priority. And we've got it there, so we'd love to give that back to your staff or staff family members, or the schools that your kids go to. Whatever we can do to give back to that corporate. Yes, I know life is busy. You got your personal busyness, you got your work, you got everything in between. So sometimes these things don't quite line up in the times that we envision, but we definitely want to be trying to make an impact on a more, I suppose a mental health level, rather than just a do good to be looking to do good level.
Or a holistic level.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you're being very political in your answer, which is fantastic. And I love that obviously you have that integrity about Livin and your existing corporates that you're dealing with, and obviously the ones that you're dealing with, they've aligned on your values and whatnot. But for those of you that are thinking about, I guess, bringing on a charity to maybe, I guess, show your support for a charity just for the sake of supporting a charity, I would say that the logo on your website isn't enough. Yeah. The logo on your footer of your email isn't enough. Buying a round of shirts and wearing them one day a month, it's erring on the side of being enough. But I think they really do need to understand their values, what you said, and bring that conversation into the workplace and make sure that there is that I guess that conversation happening around mental health, and show that they really truly align with those values, because otherwise it's all fake.
Definitely.
Right? It's all smoke and mirrors.
We've been lucky. Everyone that's come to us have already had that, and they've always been asking, what can we do to help further? What can, our staff really want to get involved. They want to volunteer, and for us it's very humbling. Other charities might not experience this, but I suppose And this is why we've received so much support from everyone, the celebrities, businesses, the community as a whole. It affects so many people.
Yeah.
So many people's lives are turned upside down every single day that people want to dive in with us and they want to get their hands dirty and do the work. And it's what we want. We love it.
So quickly on your marketing, how are you guys getting the word out there?
So when we started, obviously, like most people, we had no money, no capital at all. So kind of lucky that we grew up in the social media age. Instagram, Facebook, they were probably the two main ones that we used. I grew up playing with a few of the boys that now play NRL, and they were more than happy. And then, you know, some of the boys that played with them were then more than happy to jump on board, chuck a t-shirt on and give us a shout out. And for us, without that, we wouldn't have gotten to where we are now. When you have no money, is use what you can use, and Instagram and Facebook are just built for that. Had we existed 15 years ago, we wouldn't have been able to take off the way we took off, and we probably would have failed, because without those platforms, no one would have known who we are and what we were doing, unless we paid a lot of money to get on billboards, TV, print. And that's a shout out to one of our corporate sponsors who have been amazing. POA, Paradise Outdoor Advertising, based up in Townsville, have just come on board. We're a sponsor with them for 12 months, and I think we've got 8 billboards throughout regional Queensland. And for us, it's just massive. They've only been going 6 weeks or 4 weeks, and the amount of feedback we've already received is just phenomenal. And you know, they've been so engaging with us from the very get-go, and we just love being a part of, you know, their team.
It's clear that people really resonate with what you guys are doing, and to have people coming to you and offering that kind of support, I think I almost gushed over you on the first meeting as well, offering all sorts of content marketing.
I'm married,
support.
bro. Kid on the way.
Yeah. So, you know, that mental health is clearly a challenge for a lot of people, and I'm certainly seeing a lot more of it occurring in the entrepreneur, the founder, the sole business owner space, or CEOs, you name it. The startup, I guess, the startup revolution that we've been through, you know, just in the past 5 years alone, you know, has seen a lot of people be successful and a lot of people come unstuck, and it's a tough ride, you know. Well,
a couple of things on that. Social media, again, double-edged sword, great for us and building what we've done, but on the other hand, it's built this era or this society where we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people.
Yeah, we're
not looking after ourselves because these people are posting up their best life, and that's not their life every single day, but we only see that, so that's what we're trying to tell ourselves. Yeah. And that you could be, and you don't even have to be a startup or a CEO or whatever. You could be, you know, I used to be a carpenter, but I'm here on Instagram looking at, you know, Timmy's down the road. He's in Vegas every second day. He's got a great life, but who knows what happens behind the scenes there. And
or he drives a better car than me, or he's got a better looking girlfriend than me, or he's got a better looking dog, or he lives closer to the beach, or
we can be bullied from the outside. So, you know, other people would be bullying us, but we also bully ourselves, and that's not good. And another point, we all sit on a continuum of mental health, whether that be, you know, good mental health or poor mental health. We all have mental health. And for me, myself, was a bit of pill to swallow. I was neglecting my mental health last year, and my mental health didn't break down, but my physical health broke down as a result of that. I was working, you know, late hours, which, you know, I'm not having a, you know, whinge about that, because everyone does that. I just wasn't dealing with my stress. I had fallen out of my routines that, you know, protected me or nurtured me for so long, and I was hit with psoriatic arthritis. I lost 20 kilos. I was at the point where I couldn't walk. It hurt to talk. And for me, it was a bit of pill to swallow. It was quite hard to come back from, but it was also a beautiful reminder that we always have to take care of ourselves before we can take care of anyone else.
Absolutely.
And the thing we say in our presentations, what's the safety briefing that you get when you're on an airplane? Always to fit your mask before anyone else's, including any infants. Yeah. It's because you can't help anyone if you don't help yourself first.
Exactly. Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life. Fantastic book. He's been a fantastic guest on Joe Rogan's podcast, if you've heard him. And he constantly says, take care of your own garden before you start, I guess, trying to take care of somebody else's. And he talks a lot about the comparison, like comparing yourself to others, and the best approach is to just compare yourself to who you were yesterday.
Yeah.
Just try and be a bit better every day. And one of my senseis actually just says, be less shit.
I like that. It's honest.
Just be less shit.
It's real.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you today is because I feel like there is a movement out there at the moment, and that more and more people are supporting companies and brands and whatnot that have a purpose beyond profit, and that aligning themselves with a real cause or value that makes a real difference amongst a local community is super important. And that's why I was asking you the questions about corporates and what are they doing. And we had Adrian Nathaniel in here last week who talked about triple bottom lines and sustainability and also having a positive social impact. And some people have often, I guess, thrown the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to, it's impossible to be altruistic and change the world if you don't make money first. So be a capitalist through and through. I believe that companies should be supporting charities like yourself. It supports the people within the corporation. It supports the local community. It supports you guys helping out and educating, the younger generations, the future generations. And that is actually going to help their bottom line.
Yeah, it's proven.
It is proven.
It is proven.
Have you noticed any of your corporates that have become, part of your family that are seeing improvements in I guess, their bottom line?
Oh,
do they talk to you about that sort of stuff?
No, not really. It's kind of a hard one, and I suppose sort of not really. You didn't ask this question, but to sort of answer the question you didn't ask, social media. This is another good thing about it. People are more aware about what's happening in the world now. We're not being fed information through the mainstream media. So there's a whole array of information coming to us, and we're more aware about wanting to help causes that are close to us. So in turn, more and more corporates are turning around wanting to help make that change, because all change in this world begins with us as people. And it's on us to make that change. If you think you can't make a change, try sleeping in a room with a mosquito. Something so small can make such a change to the way you're trying to sleep. So don't ever belittle yourself. If you want to make a change, it's on you, and you got to make that change. And even if that's being a good role model, setting a good example, because you never know who's watching.
And reason why I brought that up earlier about, it's not enough for corporates just to say, oh, look, we support this charity, put it on a website, and then expect their bottom line to improve. The reason why I say that is because I don't want people to be fake. I think authenticity, integrity, honesty is three of the most important values that need to come through in every corporate. And if they are going to reach out to you, and I know this is not you saying this, but I want to say to people, if you are going to reach out to a charity and get them on board, albeit it should be Livin, because I believe strongly in what you guys are doing, make sure you live it. Make sure it actually comes through in your own personal values, and you're willing to support it 100%, and that you're willing to have those hard conversations inside the office around, are you okay? All right, let's go and have a chat. Let's go have a coffee.
Be prepared for the answers to that one too. And it is okay to ask someone directly if they're thinking about suicide. I know this is a little bit off track, but I forgot to say that earlier. It is okay to ask that. You will not put that thought in their mind. Last week I was in Victoria. We went and did a talk to the gents working on the Ballarat line upgrade, and afterwards I spoke to the HR manager, and he said, for every hour that these guys work safely, we used to give them a certain dollar figure back in their weekly paycheck. He said, we've changed that now. Instead of giving that money to them, we now donate to local charities. And he said, their staff's happiness and productivity and safety has gone through the roof, because these guys are happier to donate it to a cause or to a charity than to put it in their own pocket.
Fantastic.
And for me, I suppose that comes back to, community, connection, and purpose. These are leading indicators of happiness within life and longevity as well.
Yeah.
So I suppose that answers your question in a roundabout sort of holistic way, but that will increase productivity. It will increase your bottom line, because your staff members are happy. They feel connected. They feel like they actually have a say in what it is you're doing, and then they're only going to repay you. They're going to work their asses off for you. And Richard Branson says it too. He doesn't worry about putting his customer first. He puts his employees first, because he knows when he does that they're then going to, in turn, reward him by putting the customer first. And
I'm 100% on that, except I also think that the CEO, founder, person, managing director, whoever's driving this, the ship, needs to put themselves first too.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And we said that earlier.
Yeah.
It's all about looking after yourself.
Yep.
But you can't be a jackass.
No.
You got to be. No. You can't be an ignorant or arrogant asshole. It's being self-aware, putting yourself first, but reaching out to your team, asking them, what can I do better? That will in turn make us better.
Yep. Put yourself first into a positive mindset, so that when you have a clear mind, you can walk into a situation, you can see things going on around you, and maybe you can see upset team members, and then you can help them and put them first, or after yourself.
Yep.
And then they will put the customer first, and so on and so forth.
And that's all about being a good role model too, because it's a flow and effect. If you're saying one thing and doing another, you're going to lose respect. Your integrity is gone. So if you're taking care of yourself, your staff are going to want to take care of themselves too. So
lead by example.
100%.
Yeah.
Plant trees whose shade we'll never see.
Beautiful. Mate, that's a good note to finish on. How do people actually, support Livin?
Our website, www.livin.org. All our social medias are at livin.org. We can be found on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Not too good on the Twitter or the LinkedIn, but we're learning. And then our email is info@livin.org, or if you see myself or anyone wearing a Livin shirt, go up and start that conversation. Let them know what it means to you.
Burley's full of them.
Burley is full. Gold Coast is our birthplace, so I live in Burley. Dwayne and I grew up. You went to school at Marymount, so this is home for us. And we've received a lot of incredible support from, Burley was obviously first, and then people from North Queensland, Mackay and Townsville, they've been amazing for us, and now it's just grown around the country. Sydney, Melbourne, the Kempsey area, huge for us. Without them, we'd be lost as well. And now we've got a great team in Perth. We were just over there last week for our Livin gala dinner. That's how good they are. They're doing gala dinners over there. We're not even doing them here. They're embarrassing us.
In a good way.
In a good way. And then, worldwide. There's no end or no limit to where we can go.
Yeah. Are you seeing it happen offshore as well?
Yeah, definitely. We're trying to restrict that a little bit, because we actually lose money at the moment when we're going overseas. Shipping rates, Australia Post, fix that, please.
Yeah.
But we're trying to work things out that make it more accessible for us and then for them. But then Trumpy's also thrown the Chinese tariffs in, so
beautiful.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Good on you. Well done, Casey. Thanks for coming in, mate. Thanks for watching. Get Fact Up on memedia.com.au. We're also on YouTube. You can find us there, MeMedia Agency. And keep watching the show. We're actually just spreading the love. There's plenty to share around content marketing. There's plenty of reasons why introducing a charity into your business can actually help with your marketing, with your brand, albeit make sure you do it the right way. And we shared that earlier. Thanks again, Casey.
Thank you.